According to the latest Objective Forum research poll, a majority of Canadians support the idea of increased contributions to the Canada Pension Plan. That's at least what their news release says. It reads, majority sees need for CPP expansion. According to Forum, 59% believe contributions should be increased so benefits can increase, and only 25% disagree. Isn't that interesting? I wonder if Forum's blatantly misleading line of questioning had any influence over those results. See, if you look at the questions, they basically say to the participant implicitly, your CPP isn't enough to retire on. So then Forum asks, do you want it to be bigger? Well, yeah. Who wouldn't like to see retirement benefits go up? Everyone wants more money. Okay, how much are you willing to sacrifice for it? You'd think at least one pollster would ask specific dollar figures, but Forum didn't. How can you get an actual answer from people if you don't attach a dollar figure? Do you think people should contribute more? Sure. Okay, how much are you willing to give up from your annual salary? $1,000? CPP was never meant to be the sole retirement vehicle. It was meant to be in combination with an individual's RRSP, their personal savings, and their private pension if they're lucky to have one. What all responsible people do, CPP isn't meant to fund a person's retirement. But this is the lie that's being pushed by the left. The New Democrats and the Liberals have both called for mandatory expansion of CPP, which would require higher payroll taxes to offset the increased retirement payout.
We're looking at an expansion and a mandatory expansion of the CPP of the type that the Kathleen Wynne put forward in Ontario.
Note Trudeau was explicit about referencing Wynne's Ontario retirement pension plan as a model. So let's look at what the Ontario government proposed in its 2014 budget. The costs are not insignificant. A person making $30,000 a year will end up paying an additional $500 in new payroll taxes. Someone making $60,000 a year will end up paying an additional $1,000 in payroll taxes. For someone making $90,000 a year, they will end up paying over $1,500 in new payroll taxes. And of course, the employer needs to match contributions. Ask any small business owner how this would affect hiring. The CFIB, Canadian Federation of Independent Business, called this an attack on small business. In fact, in a survey, participants were asked what impact would paying additional ORPP premiums have on your business. 69% said they'd freeze and or cut salaries, and 53% said they'd cut staff. This is the model Trudeau's endorsed. This is the model he'd emulate at the federal level. Who could afford that? And yes, CPP is self-funding. You get out what you put in. But as it stands, after 40 years of contribution, the maximum you get out is only $1,065 per month, just under $13,000 per year. Any mandatory increase to CPP contributions would see a marginal increase to that payout. You're better off investing it. By contrast, the Conservatives rightly recognize that CPP is meant to be one pillar of an individual's retirement. It isn't meant to fund it. So they've opened the door to voluntary CPP increases. If an individual wants to up his or her monthly contribution, fine. But an employer is not obligated to match that increase. Additionally, they've hiked the TFSA contribution limit, which the Liberals and the NDP, of course, oppose. The bottom line is this. The left has proposed a substantial payroll tax hike, and they've couched it in fancy euphemisms because they know that if they were honest, they couldn't sell it to the public, and Forum is no better. But I suspect that most Canadians wouldn't be willing to suffer under higher payroll taxes for the rest of their careers in order to see a marginal increase to the payout. If you want to secure retirement, don't bank on the CPP because you'll be hugely disappointed. For TheRebel.media, I'm Marissa Semkiw.
Thank you.